welcome back to my channel. So today I will be reviewing for you guys the book Emma by Jane Austen and giving you guys a little review on the miniseries and the movie and comparing and contrasting the two, which one I thought had better actors and which one I liked better. So here we go. So starting off with the book, the story is about a girl named Emma Woodhouse who loses her mother when she's really young and basically, has to kind of grow up without her. And one day she kind of gets this idea like, hey, my governess and this one man, they would be great together. And eventually they do end up together, and because of that she ends up with this complex, like she is like this great matchmaker. And ends up meddling in the love life of a friend that she makes, and it all just kind of goes downhill as she tries to kind of meddle not only in her friend's love life, but in the love lives of people around her. And she tries to predict everything and meddle in it, and it just does not end up going the way she thinks, and it doesn't take the turns that she believes. So right now I'm going to give you guys kind of the quick spoiler-free version, which is that it is a good book. It just takes you some time. If you're anything like me, you're going to want to try to at least like halfway through the book before stuff begins to happen and you end up liking the story a lot more than you did because the characters annoy you. Which I'm hopeful that that's what Jane Austen was intentionally trying to do, is to make you dislike these characters till something major happened that caused you to be like, oh, hey, great character progression. But, anyway, so once you get past that part, it's actually a really great book, and altogether, it's a really good one. And now time for the spoilers, so starting it off now if you don't want to be spoiled on this, but, let's see. Overall, I have to say that it was an emotional roller coaster. I disliked the beginning of it, with Emma, just her attitude towards everything, that she wasn't being a good person. Basically back then I know that things were different, and it was all like on social standing, like if you were a farmer you weren't considered high on the social bracket or whatever, just like you weren't considered like amiable for girls like Emma who had like money because of, I have no idea how her dad got his money. He just had money. And so I guess she had like a really great high social standing, and she would just kind of be rude to people and was very judgmental on others, and it wasn't a good thing on her part. And I get that things were different then, but still, even that, like, she was just very rude and didn't treat this one man, whose name is slipping my mind right now, very well. She didn't treat Miss Bates and Mrs. Bates, I think are their names. She didn't treat them properly. It was bad. And she also was very rude towards Jane Fairfax. She treated her very poorly as well, just because of the fact that she was kind of jealous, but more like in the sense like annoyed by her because of everything that Mrs. Bates would say about her. And was meddling on the love lives of others was just absolutely terrible. She meddled in the love life of a friend of hers that she made after her governess got married. She told her that she could do better than a farmer. And see, here's the problem with that. I don't necessarily see a problem with the man. Like, he seemed like a generally okay person, but Emma just kind of meddled and was like, you can do better than him. But here's another problem. Jane's friend, Emma's, have I been saying Jane? Have I been saying Jane? Emma, just take all that out. Emma had continually was telling her friend, like, look, you can do better. And the problem with that was, her friend was brought up in like this home, and like nobody knew who her parents were. Her social standing was not like great because of that, because she had no parent, like nobody knew who her parents were, and nobody was like coming to claim her. So she was basically staying in like this school for girls that wasn't like necessarily the best place. It's kind of more like a place that you would send your kid whenever you couldn't help take care of them. And basically it was kind of like a very sad social status. And so Emma would try to set her up with anyone but the farmer, and ended up setting her standards so high that it was terrible and created like a complex that was not good. She also was quick to make assumptions on others in the meddlings, and also was very quick to make assumptions on Jane Fairfax in her love life, and believed that she was in love with a married man, when in reality she wasn't. And then now going on to a whole other subject of the other characters, going on to Mr. Elton, who was a massive jerk. He just thought so highly of himself and treated Emma's friend terribly when Emma thought that she was setting them up. But in reality, she wasn't. It was more towards Emma than towards the other girl, and so he was setting his standards on Emma, and Emma did not want to get married, which is something I probably should have mentioned, but if you've read the book, you know. And so I was just very agitated with Mr. Elton because he was very rude to Emma's friend. He thought so highly of himself, he was a jerk, and then there was the woman he ended up marrying who was just as bad, if not slightly worse than Elton, and her attitude and the way she acted, it was terrible. And all in all, okay, so the book did finally get better and come to the point to where I was actually enjoying it when I got about halfway through, closer to the end, when Emma realized how she'd been acting and became a better person, apologized to those she had wronged. She ended up marrying Mr. Knightley, who I have to say I really do ship them. And then I also kind of forgot to mention the stepson of Emma's governess who comes into town. He also was not necessarily kind of the best person, but that was because he was kind of trying to act and put an act on. But while doing that, he ended up like encouraging Emma, and they both kind of encouraged each other to act absolutely terrible. And that was basically kind of the point, I guess it was kind of more like a climax, because Emma and him said stuff that was absolutely terrible and awful, and she ended up realizing, hey, I've been acting absolutely terrible, and that's what made it great, you know, was how she was able to change her character and become a better person, and it was great. I do recommend this book. It's just, it takes patience in a sense, and I do recommend listening to an audiobook because that's what I did, and that was basically the only way I could really pay attention, because I found that listening to it, I could clean, I could do stuff. Because of the character progression and how long I had been listening to the audiobook, I was really sad to see it end. The book end, which is rare, but it I don't think this ever really happened before with me like dreading the ending, but I dreaded it, and it came, and I was like really sad, and I was like, what am I gonna do now? But anyway, now moving on to the Emma adaptations. Now, the two I will be bringing up, the first one is the miniseries, which you can find on Amazon Prime. The second is on Netflix, and it's the movie, and it's on Netflix, so if you guys have any of these, you guys can watch them and decide for yourselves and develop your own opinions, but this is my personal opinion on the two. So, the movie starred Gwyneth Paltrow in the role of Emma, and the role of Mr. Knightley, Jeremy Northam. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm pronouncing these names wrong, please forgive me. Anyway, and in the miniseries adaptation, they have okay, I'm gonna have to look at this, hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna try to pronounce this. Romola Garia, I think, is her name. And I'm probably pronouncing this terribly, so you guys are just gonna look that up and figure out how to pronounce it yourselves, I'm sorry. And then the role of Mr. Knightley is Johnny Lee Miller, which is very easy to pronounce, hallelujah. And I felt the need to bring this up, even though I didn't bring this up in the movie adaptation, just because in the miniseries we have Michael Gambon, which I believe is how you pronounce it. Yeah, Michael Gambon. We have the guy who plays Dumbledore in the role of Mr. Woodhouse as Emma's dad. So I felt the need to bring that up in the miniseries. You get to see Dumbledore. So just put it out there, and it's funny that I mentioned him because I have Draco above my head. Need help. So, in the miniseries, you get let's see. Well, the characters, it's a lot longer than the movie, so you get it's obviously going to be lengthier, and you get more of the story, which is really good, and it was really great. The only issues that I had with the miniseries, in terms of the series itself, I'm not going to go into the acting just yet, but the main issue that I had with it was the fact that they left out the scene here where they kind of touched hands and he looked like he wanted to say something to her, but he kind of walked away. And in the movie, I didn't it was funny, but at the same time kind of too funny. I would rather it have been a little bit more serious. And they did include that scene with Emma and Mr. Knightley, but they also kind of incorporated stuff that didn't happen, and I wouldn't picture Emma doing. There's a scene with them kind of using, archery, they were doing archery, And it was just kind of like, they didn't do that in the book. They never really brought that up regarding my memory. Like, I could be wrong if I am. If I forgot about something, please let me know in the comments. But, like, they didn't incorporate that, and it was kind of annoying that they did. Basically, the main thing that you're going to notice the difference between the two is the acting. In the movie, I like the acting of Gwyneth Paltrow and Jeremy Northam in the roles of Mr. Knightley and Emma. They did a better job, I think, portraying the characters and how they were in the book than, you know, the people in the miniseries, because I felt like Mr. Knightley in the miniseries was a little bit too harsh, and I felt like Emma was just a little bit too goofy. It just seemed kind of off to me. And that was like my main thing. Would just be the difference in acting. But I prefer the people in the miniseries just because I like them better in the roles, in a sense. Though I'm kind of torn between Jonny Lee Miller and Jeremy Northam in the role of Mr. Knightley, because I'm kind of like, I love them both. But it's like Jeremy Northam did a better job with the acting, but I don't want to let Jonny Lee Miller go because he was the first person I've seen to portray Mr. Knightley, and so it's like, I'm hurting a lot, you guys, regarding that. Though I still have to say I prefer the miniseries, but if you guys want to take a crack at the movie, feel free. It's incredibly goofy, and it probably is like, and it's funny, it's great like that, but it's like, there needs to be a little bit more seriousness. You may disagree with me on those points. Feel free to let me know what your opinion was of the two in the comments. That was my point of view. I still prefer the miniseries, you guys, even if the acting, like, I'm preferring the miniseries, because that's the first thing I watched regarding Emma, was the miniseries, and it was perfect. And I love the miniseries better because it goes on longer, and it gives me more. So, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if this is your first time watching it. I will be coming up with a lot more videos here soon. I have a month left of school, you guys, so I will have more time to read, as well as film more videos for you. Yes.
You want to see something?
What is it? Okay, sorry. Hey guys, so you guys are probably really confused right now, but that was my mom's boyfriend. He just showed me my mom's engagement ring. He is probably going to be popping the question next weekend, and I am so excited. Oh my gosh, I can't breathe right now. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really excited. Okay, sorry. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I'll be linking my social media down below. And again, if this is your first time watching my channel, please subscribe, because guys, summer is coming and it's just a month away. I have about a month left of majority of my school, and after that majority of things I have to do for school. And then I just have like one subject left. So like, well, actually more like two, but I'll have more time on my hands. I'll be able to film more and I'll be able to read more. So just kind of stay tuned, you guys. Just be patient with me. I still have like a month to go. School is not fun, and it causes me to be very hectic, and most likely this fall I'll probably be falling off the face of the earth. So senior year, guys. Woo. But anyway, I'm really excited. Okay, so I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and wish Chip good luck. That's my mom's boyfriend's name. Bye. What up, guys? It's Future Ashley. So listen, my mom did end up saying yes. He ended up proposing to her, I believe it was the next week. Yep. And we came down here and he proposed and he did it. So that was a couple months back. So they've already had the wedding scheduled. My mom's got her dress and we're needing to get bridesmaid dresses. But otherwise than that, basically it's all set and ready to go. So it's happening. Just thought you guys should know. Thank you and goodbye.